Okay, so that's to talk with the protagonist of the story. So, Mark, you are the one who did all the actions, so you're the protagonist, even though you did them using Edward's name. So, to begin with, uh, I'd like to ask you if you consider you have also a part of the blame um, for her death, for Edward's wife death. As well, maybe you didn't kill her as Edward did, you also but you triggered the decision of her to get for getting divorced. So, and that decision was the one that triggered then Edward for committing the crime, for committing the murder. So I personally think that you also have the blame for her death. As for your plan, I admire the details and all of that, but you should have been more careful. For example, with the 20 pills you took, I think it was a risky move, but at the end, it all worked out. Um, Also, I consider the details of the hair and eyebrows to be really, really important. As the story said, the policeman noticed those aspects and actually write them write them down. So and well, I think the only way that a case could be built against you is by comparing the writing uh, between the signature you left when you bought the gun and the actual signature on Edward's license, or the actual signature of Edward. And also, I'd like to ask you if the number you placed on the false ID, on the false license, was the actual number of Edward, or was it invented? Because if it was invented, then a case could be built, and finally um, you could be, well, the assassin of Edward, and and it would be bad. So, as a suggestion, I think the plan was actually really good, as you left piece of evidence of Edward's like thoughts, well, suicidal thoughts, and at the police. So if the policeman sees him dead, they'll think it's only natural. As for the psychiatrist, um, well, he usually has those types of of patients, and you act really well talking about dreams, talking about the suicidal wish, and but I think you missed out with the pills. I think you went a little too far with that, as it was a clear attempt to committing suicide, and I don't think uh, it was necessary. Besides, being with an actual doctor might also be a way make to build up a case against you, because well, you have medical history and all of that, and you could have messed out with the pills, and it could be led to a, I don't know, a blood exam or something like that, which finally could be discovered that it was actually you, Mark, who was at the doctor's office, not Edward, and it would be really suspicious. And finally, I think they'll blame even Edward's wife's death on you. So that was all. Peace.